Hi, welcome to the Ghana Bloggers Summit 2020. It's another election year, and journalism and bloggers or blogging will be having a lot of impact on the turnout and how information is disseminated to the voters on which they will be making their decision. So today we have a panel discussion to talk about the impact or influence of journalism and blogging on this year's general elections. And to help me have a very fruitful discussion, I have with me Patrice Amegashie, who is an ace broadcaster. I have Nana Abba Anamoah, who is a top-notch in the industry of journalism and communication. And I also have Ismail Akwei. Right, so gentlemen and lady, please welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so first question we want to find out, as journalists and bloggers and people within the communication space, you definitely understand that journalism produces results. Now, what would you say is the way that journalists and bloggers have over the years reported on any election at all in any country? And based on that, what would you say is the biggest challenge that journalists or bloggers face in their report or coverage of elections? Patrice, would you take the first bite?
Well, the establishment of journalism is quite diverse, and that has borne out what we call bloggers. So, for example, the two of them are put on a certain pedestal, sometimes the same, sometimes the journalists ahead of the bloggers, because some see the blogging to be a subset of journalism. So in this regard, that is what it is. Who has the boundaries? The journalist has more boundaries and restrictions than the blogger, because in the field of journalism, whatever you're putting out there, you need to check your facts, cross-check, and ensure that you're not libeling anybody. But for the situation of the blogger, the person's opinion is what they are putting out there. So most of the time, there are no reins on the person. So they have a free hold to go out there to put anything that they so wish to put out. Now, the risks involved here are quite minimal when it comes to the blogger than to the journalist, because it's a media house. So you're usually the target of whoever and whatever you are reporting on, because people see that there ought to be a certain level of credibility attached to whatever you put out there. So they would find out if you even made a little slip in terms of spelling mistake, they'll be like, oh, look at this media house. They even made this mistake. How much more reporting on elections where there is so much factionalism, and it will be difficult for you to say that, okay, this is going to person A or person B. Even if you know that it's a call that you have to make, sometimes you have to be very restrained. But when it comes to the blogger, it is their opinion. So they are putting out there what it is that they feel. Nobody is going to fault them, because they are seen to be simpletons, one way or the other. So wherein lies the risk? What I've noticed over the years is that people go to the pages of the bloggers based on who you are and what you're reporting. People go to the pages of the journalists or the media house because of what they are expecting, because that is more grandiose. So a lot more attention is given to the journalist than to the blogger. So a lot more responsibility is on the journalist than to the blogger. So for responsibility purposes, I can say that 90% will go to the journalist, and then 20% or even less would go to the blogger. So for me, look more at what the journalist is saying than what the blogger is putting out there. Doesn't mean that a journalist cannot be a blogger. There are journalists who are bloggers.
They face the same limitations.
To an extent.
They face more, journalists face more limitations
than
bloggers do.
Because it's not your opinion, it is the fact that you have to report on. But the bloggers is their opinion.
Sure. Anamoah, please.
I want to continue from where Patrice left off, and I think that going into an election is very important and crucial where you get your information from. We are in an era of fake news, because now everyone and their cat feels that they can also report. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have netizens now. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is important that we safeguard our democracy. How do we safeguard our democracy? By ensuring that we put out only the truth. And Patrice made a very important point about opinions. The difference between what the bloggers are doing and what the media houses are also churning out. And so you need to know where you are accessing information from. The credibility of this election hinges largely on information. And the media, both journalists, the traditional media, social media, everyone has a role to play in ensuring that the elections are credible. Because if blogger A reports that there is fire at Odododiodio, and there is no fire. And for some reason, people like to follow the sensational stories.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if media house A does not put that story out, everyone seems to think that the media house is not serious.
Doing their job.
They're not doing their job. So it's important that we safeguard our democracy this election by ensuring that we always put the truth out there. I am happy to see young people especially going out to blog in large numbers. I think it's wonderful, but they should always remember that the truth is paramount. You don't have to lie because of followers and likes. And so I agree largely with what Patrice Amegashie said. The responsibility largely is on the traditional media. A lot of the time that you find the traditional media chasing the other media because there are no limitations, so they can put the story out. But in the media house, you have about 4 people who all want to cross-check the information. By the time it's out, somebody has already,
put it out there. Yeah. So Ismail, you have a bit of background with blogging yourself. What would you then say is the comparison between what you do or what you did as a blogger and what journalists or traditional journalists do, especially in covering elections?
Okay, so let me bring this back from the consumers to those who bring out the information. So journalists and bloggers are limited. And even talking about right now, the 2020 December elections, we can't find the list of all the parliamentary candidates and even the independent candidates. Where do you find them? So if, let's say, media house A puts out a story saying this constituency has this candidate or that candidate, where are you going to cross-check? Well, we tried with the EC, the information is not out there, but ballots are being printed. So information isn't available. So it makes it very difficult. And that brings about the fake news and a lot of people sensing or getting rumors, and you can't even cross-check. So at the end of the day, the challenge is, do you bring out the information? Do you wait? You are calling the appropriate authorities to give you the real information. You are not getting it. So now what do you do? So during the elections, the week in there, the election day, the days after the election, we would face challenges of people not getting information until the authorities involved bring out the information early so that the agenda will be set, rather than the bloggers and everybody else setting the agenda for now traditional media to be thinking, where did they get the information from? Then probably the information is true, then they'll be wondering, why didn't you give it to me first? Because people believe or follow me for news, they follow them for them, as Patrice said. So at the end of the day, the information should be available, and I think that's where the main challenge is.
So we have a challenge with information flow from authorities who have this information to journalists and bloggers who are supposed to send the information out to the audience.
Exactly.
That's interesting. So let's talk about traffic. I mean, every media house thrives on numbers. So with the issue of driving traffic to your media house, and in this particular election year where we have some issues of the demise of some political candidates, how are you ensuring, how are you even verifying some of these issues, and what impact are these events, the demise, the accidents and all that, what impact are they having on your reportage? I'd like you to take that for us.
So for traffic, which you just brought up, I would say that should be the headache of the media managers, and not really a journalist or a blogger. For a journalist and blogger, yes, you would want to make money on the side, but the moment you lose focus of the information or the main job that you're supposed to do, you start chasing traffic, you end up losing it all. And a lot of bloggers have come up, they've gone because of one story. Some have come up because of not fact-checking, cross-checking some stories. So yes, traffic is important, but it's not for you to think about it. It's for you to do the right thing and to come when it has to come. And right now, the information we have, it seems everybody is eating from the same cake. There's no other cake, unless you create your own cake. Bake your own cake, and then you can say, well, I'm a standalone guy, or standalone media, and I'm making my own thing. But everybody is taking from the same cake. So now why then do you circumvent the cake and then bring something that's not true and that's false just because you want traffic? You will end up maybe losing your credibility, losing your job, and you might find something else to do than blogging or doing journalism.
I see. Anna, but what would you say about that?
I think that traffic absolutely is important, but I also honestly feel that sometimes we lose the plot as a result of competition. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with competition, but the competition has to be healthy.
Sure.
It has to be healthy competition. So, for instance, I mean, people ask me, Nana, how many followers do you have? And I don't really see the big deal about followers. I mean, so you have a large number of followers. So what? What kind of impact are you making? There are people who blog, they have over 60,000 followers, but majority of the things they put out are so vitriolic. What impact are you making? You're not making any impact. People are following you because, number one, they think that, oh, and you realize, go and read the comments. When they post a story, the first thing, as for you there, this is how you are. Oh, you there, you are so foolish. So you are not making an impact. You have the numbers, you have the traffic, but people have no respect for you. So I'd rather the traffic is not so huge for you, but you are churning out absolute truth. There is consistency, because when you continue to put out the truth consistently, you get the right traffic. But don't be in a hurry to get the traffic and then tarnish somebody's reputation, tarnish the credibility of this election, question the Electoral Commission when there is absolutely no need to question the Electoral Commission. So, yes, we are all about the numbers. Patrice won the traffic, he wants the traffic, I want the traffic, but I think that the media houses in Ghana should be realistic and honest. The competition has to be very interesting, because I've seen media houses who put stories out and then later they are found wanting and they're withdrawing, they are apologizing. Why did you put the story out when you did not do all the cross-checking? You need to do it, but people are in a hurry to break the news first without doing the right thing, and that's not what they are taught in the journalism classrooms. So if the media houses are doing the right thing, the bloggers themselves will also learn, because some of these bloggers look up to people in their media space. They want to be like them. And so I think that, yes, we should go for meaningful traffic. The traffic has to be responsible traffic. Don't go out putting out false information, all in the hope of getting traffic.
Patrice, I'm sure you would like to have
no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a Washington said not too long ago that, is it all about being the first to have the speed to report on a matter, or you need to fact check everything before you put it out there? Because at the end of the day, whatever she puts out there or he puts out there, if I come to put the last one and mine is correct, what happens to their credibility, their image, their reputation and everything? But the point is, the onus also lies on people like you, those out there who are chasing the traffic and making it grow more than they following the quality. You get it? So her media house would go and do a story. Maybe by 10 o'clock they would have been done with the story. But they need to cross-check from person A, person B, person C, call Ismail and find out whether or not it is true and all those kind of things. By the time you see, by 10:30, somebody has already put a photo and video and everything out there. So let's take the Ododo that she mentioned. Is it wise for a media house? They will never just go pick all those guys who were throwing the cudgels, the stones, and the bottles and everything out there immediately. No, you need to be measured. But for the person who posted it, everybody will be following, it's come out. Do you know the ramification of what you have just done? You don't know. Because somebody is sitting somewhere at a different region, different constituency. See what is happening at Ododo, they'll be like, hey, they are killing my NDC people, hey, they are killing my NPP people. So they also rush at it. But the media house has a lot more responsibility in doing so.
But Patrice, you know, and unfortunately, some of the media houses are following that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yes, they would.
Yeah.
Because like you said and you alluded to it, everybody is looking at, okay, what is trending? This is trending, so let me drop my weight and go follow this guy. And that is where the problem is. What are you chasing? You are chasing shadows. Because there are ethics that govern every practice and profession in this country that we have. So for example, if you're a journalist, you have to ensure, based on the editorial policy that you have, you would be able to move one way or the other. You get it? So for me, basically, point is, trend, fine, trend, but like Abba said, what are you trending about?
Exactly.
Is it a positive trend or the negative trend? You want traffic. What kind of traffic are you looking at? It has 3 lights. It has the red, the amber, and then the green. Which one are you looking at? We all have the traffic light. Which one are you looking at? You get it? So are you stopping to just listen to what is happening, or you are waiting on the fringes to see who's going to post what, or you are just going to post everything out there? So It's the responsibility of everybody.
Right. Nanaba, you mentioned and you talked about the fact that that is not what they are being taught in journalism school. Do you think that bloggers of today are evolving and are learning better skills and applying ethics in what they do?
A few of them, I must say, and give them credit for that. But the majority of them, I don't think so. They are stagnant. They are not evolving. Because what you were doing 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you can't be doing it 3 years on. You need to change. You need to evolve. You need to do better. Fortunately, and I say this to young people who blog all the time, that there are so many opportunities on the internet because you are using the internet to work. And there are so many opportunities on the internet to learn from. So many of them. There are bloggers in the United States of America who are doing absolutely well. You know, this election, there was a guy, he used to work with the CIA. He started blogging. And he was getting more views than CNN, Fox, and another NBC put together.
Whoa,
and put together. Put together. And it's
credibility.
Just credibility. It's just one individual. One individual. It's because he took his time to learn the ropes. He said to himself that in the year 2020, the US elections, I'll be blogging. So he went through the ropes. He studied continuously, monitoring what CNN does, looking for the loopholes in what Fox does, and then he jumped on it. And he's done absolutely great for himself. So I think that the bloggers should not just be comfortable. And a lot of the time you see the stories. Ghana will do a story. And then all of them will pick it up.
Same story.
The same story. The same headline. There's nothing wrong with taking but again, another issue that I have with them, no credit. They don't reference, they won't acknowledge where they got the story from, and you feel that it is their story. Another thing, so for instance, Patrice is an MP. Patrice is getting out of his house, takes a picture that today I'm in my constituency, posts it on his wall, and then you find a blogger, Patrice spotted there. when I posted the picture myself, so they need to learn. They need to wake up and smell the coffee, because I feel bloggers in Ghana underestimate their power. They really underestimate their power. You have a population that is so young who really will not want to watch TV. They don't want to listen to the radio. They are getting everything on the internet. And so the bloggers wield so much power, but they do not know the power they hold because they haven't taken time off to sit back and examine the dance on the floor and figure out where do I fit in and what can I do to be the best dancer on the floor.
Field.
You know, to situate it properly, as with regards to the elections that is coming up, what it is that somebody was a CIA agent. The person was an expert in whatever he or she was doing before latching on to what was going on with regards to the election. So as a blogger, as a journalist, you have to know your forte. You have to understand what your portfolio limits you to and what it opens you up to. So that comes to you being a professional at what you do, and not only that, but an expert in understanding it. Don't just put out stories. Don't just say anything because I'm a blogger. Maybe I'm a fashion blogger or I'm something, but because everybody follows me, it's election time, so I can post anything. That's not what we are looking at for. You have to be an expert in what you have to be very analytical in the presentation that you make. Don't just rush to put out stories over there. And the point is that even those who follow you would realize that what you're putting out there is messy. But because some of them don't have the confidence and the luxury to just come out and say that, hey, this thing that is happening is wrongly being posted or that kind of thing, you think you just follow through that same path and that same channel and that is what it is. No, it's elections. We all know the temperature of the elections. It's so high up there. So before you move, I'm sure the media houses would do it. I am only saying that I'm sure the media houses will do it. They'll let you understand that wherever you are going, whatever reportage that you're putting out there, be measured. Because the level of sensitivity is so high up there. But for the blogger who doesn't care and is not properly regulated, who is going to tell him or her what to blog on, what to talk about, and what not to talk about?
Yeah.
You get it? So they just throw the thing out there, they go there, they put their camera there, take the video and say, hey, so MPPs won, or hey, this man has stolen the ballot box or something has happened. And we need to be very careful with what we assimilate.
Patrice mentioned fashion blogger. You know, there are people who do fashion blogging, some are doing entertainment, food. And I always say to them, and it comes back to the point I made, that you must learn. You must always check out what others are doing elsewhere. So if you're a fashion blogger and it's election time, you don't necessarily have to sound political. Because it looks very ridiculous. But you can. Because there is so much fashion around elections. Because there is paraphernalia. The streets are dripped with party colors. That is something to talk about. People are wearing all sorts of styles with party colors.
With different appeals.
That is something to blog about. If you're a food blogger, at the polling centers, what can you get? Is it the cocoa and the kose, which I absolutely hate? You know, so there is always find relevance. You must be relevant at all times, but it shouldn't deviate from what your
core mandate or your core reason why you started.
Other bloggers, even entertainment bloggers, celebrity bloggers, now blogging about only sexual content because they want traffic. So at the end of the day, if you ask them, why are you blogging? Well, I'm blogging so that I'll be like this person. But you know what that person or how that person got to where they got to. So what you have to do is you have to self-train. I think this summit did the same thing last year. There was a lot of people coming on and then speaking about how to go about it and why you're doing it. And I think it's very important that people self-train so that they will get to know that I can do more outside my domain. Right now, we are talking about elections. Trust me, even coronavirus passed, I didn't see bloggers blogging about coronavirus. What people could do. They all sat back and said, coronavirus, so there's nothing to write about. So we are just sitting back. And then if Anamoah does a video from the room, then they go, Anamoah is doing this. That's all the content they're looking for. So where is the information, the responsibility when it comes to informing people? Responsibility when it comes to educating people? And also, even responsibility when it comes to entertaining people. Do you think someone's demise, someone's maybe a negative story, bad news is what to entertain other people? I don't think so. People want information, but bloggers are not doing that. They've lost the focus. But there are more people to learn from. As she's mentioned, a US person, and anybody can be a blogger. I know you have someone in the medical field who is blogging, and people appreciate it. We have people who are teachers and they are blogging. Remember the video about a teacher who was teaching some kids how to dance. He was using dance, and the boy died. You see how far they went to. That teacher is a blogger because he takes videos of his kids and he posts it online to tell them, this is what I'm doing. This is an impact I'm putting in the lives of these kids in the village. So why are the others not doing that?
Right. You see, Elizabeth only said something some time ago, and I believe in it absolutely. It will rub off people negatively, but I don't care. That is what I believe, and that is what it's supposed to be. To become a journalist, it has to be a postgraduate profession. You have to be a lawyer before you do journalism. You have to be an engineer. You have to be a banking and finance person. You have to be a social worker. You have to understand all those things if you really want to take it seriously. So like I said, when it comes to political blogging, how many people are there? Or we have many people who have learned political science, but they are looking it forward or onward. But what about the person who read journalism? They feel that they just have to go to the media house and do something. But when the onus is on them, like it is, very controversial.
I totally disagree.
Very controversial. I'm not saying it is foolproof. I'm not saying it is foolproof because we have had people who have not come from that background but have excelled. But the point is that go on CNN, go on BBC, go on Al Jazeera. Majority, in fact, like 99% of the guys there, they have doctorate degrees, they have master's degree in something before they are reporting. So when the budget is read, somebody comes and is able to tear down every little thing that has been said in the budget. When it comes to elections, there's somebody who knows and has followed it with Blazer. He will follow and tear everything down. The point is that most people don't do that. And it comes back to the training that you're mentioning. I don't have to start blogging before I say I'm going to get training. Then on what basis did you? Refresher course. But you can't say before I go and get training. No. Who are you?
You can learn on the job.
Thank you.
You can learn on the job.
Yes, but don't say that. Hey, now I want to become a blaster. But no. I have to go and read on ethics and planning before I come. No.
All right, Patrice.
Who are you? What are you? What do you want to go on?
Yeah.
But you know,
It serves us better.
There's no training on blogging. There's a training on the subject that you want to blog about.
Yes.
So you need to know the subject and how to go about it, and then learn some ethics and
That's it.
other journalism principles so that you could work around it and
Sure.
be safe.
You don't libel people and mention people.
All right, so very insightful conversation, and I'm sure we can continue and delve more into it. But for the sake of time, in 30 seconds, I want to take one advice from each of you for bloggers and journalists out there in relation to the election. Anamoah, please take the first bite.
Let's be responsible. I mean, we tout ourselves as a peace-loving nation, and every year, every 4 years, when we go to the polls, we show the world that indeed we are mature, we are discerning, and again, the media, including everybody blogging, we have to be very careful what we put out there. Yes, you want to be the first person to put it out there, but ask yourself if what you're putting out is the truth. There is no need to be overly sensational. There is no need to put lies out there, especially when you know that it could be detrimental to the credibility of the elections. And let's respect the rules and regulations at the polling stations. Don't go thinking that because you're a journalist or a blogger, you have a right to pick up a phone and start recording. You can't do that at the polling center. Journalists, bloggers, people who feel they are popular should stop, you know, calling the bluff of election officials. It is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. They go, they see the police, and they think because they have a pen and a paper and the phone, they have the right to disrespect everybody. We should respect the election officials, polling agents, the police, the security personnel that will be there. Let's respect them. Let's do our work and allow others to do their work. But ultimately, the truth shall set us free.
Thank you. Patrice.
Well, I'd like to remind everybody that the fact is not always the truth. The truth is always the fact. They have to put that thing in their mind. The fact is not always the truth. The truth is always the fact. Put that thing in mind. Now, as you're going in, there are 3 things that you have to put yourself in. What is your identity? What do you represent? Where are you coming from? This media house, is that what they intend to do? Is that what they purport to do? Is that the editorial policy? Is that what they have planned for the elections? So what kind of identity are you carrying? Now, what kind of reputation would you want to give to that your media house that you're representing? Is it a reputation of being, like she said, overly sensational? Or you want to be very decorous in the kind of thing that you do, such that you're like, okay, I want to take this video, but should it be done this way or that way? Who is it going to incense? What kind of image do you want to have for yourself? Because the story was put out by Ismail. What kind of image has he got, such that everybody will say that, oh, it is ideal? No, it is not. So look at those 3 things and attach it to the kind of reportage that you have. For me, the worst people that I blame is the media. Because that is the mirror that everybody looks in. And when you look in the mirror, what do you see? So if the media is not doing what is appropriate, what do you expect the rest of the people to do? The media has the power, like a mobile phone. You can either black out or you allow it to go. If you choose to black it out, why not? The media is not united at the front. That is a different matter altogether. That is where the media is now like political parties. So there's no way there will be good media reportage in this country.
Well, thank you very much, Patrice. Ismail, please.
So, you know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it's always been said the future is digital. This is the future. And
this is digital.
Bloggers should feel that they are at that position, at that place where they control the field. Patrice also mentioned that journalists are now following bloggers. That should tell you that you are very important also in the game, even though you're not making money, but at least you are impactful.
They could make money if they change their ways.
Yeah. So you just have to take responsibility and keep doing your work well. And who knows, it might impact someone's life. It might change the way we see things. And it would open doors for the country's media in general. Because if traditional media are now chasing bloggers for the scoops and everything, then lead the way. Lead the way. Let's take it into our hands and make change in this country, and that will make a better Ghana for all of us. So people should just be responsible and make sure we get there.
All right. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the panel discussion on the influence of journalism and blogging on the 2020 general elections, and it's been a part of the Ghana Bloggers Summit 2020. The advice has been simple. Bloggers, journalists, lead the way, because you are the mirror through which the society sees a reflection of themselves. And so whatever we do can impact their lives and impact the decisions they make. My name is Efo Korku Mawutor. I've had this discussion with Patrice, with Anamoah, and with Ismail. Thank you.